welcome back to another Artifact Corner. Today we will be looking at a book that belonged to Henry Livingston Webb, husband of our Frances Henrietta Delord. Henry was an avid reader and had a massive library of books. This book was published in 1810 and is called Pikes' Expedition. Lieutenant Zebulon Montgomery Pike was ordered by General-in-Chief James Wilkinson to locate the northern source of the Mississippi River. He kept a journal of his travels, which was later published as this book. It was wildly popular in the United States and translated into multiple languages for the European market. Let's learn a bit more about the life of the author, Lieutenant Pike. Zebulon Montgomery Pike was born in Leamington, New Jersey on January 5, 1779. He was the son of Isabella Brown and Zebulon Pike, and followed in the footsteps of his father, who had begun his own career in the military service of the United States in 1775 at the beginning of the American Revolutionary War. Through his father, he was a direct descendant of Robert Pike, who was famous for being an opponent of the Salem witchcraft prosecutions of 1692. Pike's father was stationed in Ohio and then in Illinois, so the family moved around a bit. He was commissioned as a second lieutenant of infantry in 1799 and promoted to first lieutenant later that same year. In 1801, he married Clarissa Harlow Brown. They had 5 children together, but sadly, only one survived to adulthood. Pike began his expedition in the summer of 1805. Pike left St. Louis on August 9, 1805, proceeding upstream by Pirot. He and his crew reached the confluence of the Mississippi and Minnesota rivers on September 21st, where he negotiated a treaty of St. Peter's Agreement with the Dakota Native Americans, purchasing the future site of Fort Snelling. The expedition proceeded further upriver, stopping to construct a winter camp at the mouth of the Swan River, south of present-day Little Falls, Minnesota, on October 16th. On December 10th, they continued upstream along the frozen river on foot, visiting several British Northwest Company fur posts along the way. They completed their expedition on April 7th of 1806. After Lieutenant Pike returned from his first expedition, General Wilkinson almost immediately ordered him to mount a second expedition, this time to the southwest to explore, map, and find the headwaters of the Arkansas River and parallel Red River of the south upstream from the lower Mississippi River. Pike and his men were captured by the Spanish and held for a time, but were ultimately released and returned to the Louisiana border on July 1, 1807. Pike was promoted to the rank of captain during the Southwest expedition. In 1811, Pike fought with the 4th Infantry Regiment at the Battle of Tippecanoe under General and future 9th President William Henry Harrison. He was promoted to Colonel of the 15th Infantry Regiment in July 1812. Pike's military career also included service as Deputy Quartermaster General in New Orleans and Inspector General during the latter part of the War of 1812. Pike departed from the newly fortified rural military outpost of Sackett's Harbor on the New York shore of Lake Ontario for what became his last military campaign. On this expedition, Pike commanded combat troops in the successful attack on York, now Toronto, on April 27, 1813. Pike was mortally wounded and died, along with numerous other American troops, by flying rocks and other debris when the withdrawing British garrison blew up its ammunition magazine as Pike's troops approached Fort York. His body was brought by ship back to Sackett's Harbor, where his remains were buried at the military cemetery. He was just 34 years old. Our book is in really good condition given its 215 years of age, and the fact that we know Henry Webb likely read this, as well as many others. It is an interesting look at early American life and the exploration of the very new United States. We are lucky to have this in our collections. Thanks so much for stopping by.